Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Blood Phantom 81. Thank you so much for checking into my channel. Today I want to do a video which is 3 myths about investing that I see and hear people talk about all the time. And it's oftentimes one of these myths that actually keeps people from investing, which sucks that that's kind of the climate that we live in. There's generations of people that don't even know what investing is. And oftentimes it's a lack of financial education, yes, first and foremost. But a lot of times it's a difference of culture. And there's a lot of cultures that don't emphasize investing. And it becomes pretty apparent if you look at people that are investing or that have 401ks and you look at the people that don't, you can make some pretty clear generalizations. I don't have to say them for you guys to know what I mean. But anyway, that's the world that we live in. So I want to share some of my thoughts on that, and I want to talk about some of these myths. Hopefully get a conversation going in the comment section. But yeah, so myth number 1 is that you need a lot of money to start investing, which is definitely not true. You guys know there's a lot of discount brokerages out there, such as M1 Finance and Robinhood, maybe even different ones like Wealthfront and Betterment. And there's even really crappy ones such as Acorns and Stash. But anyway, moving aside from that, this myth I could definitely sympathize with, because when you see on TV or in the news or media, when you hear things about the stock market, everything is in the context of millions of shares, billions of dollars, things like that. You hear that Warren Buffett just bought like a gajillion billion shares of Apple, and it was only like 5% of his net worth or something like that. And so to the average person that doesn't invest, they might think like, okay, I'm not actually making that much money right now, but in 10 years I will. It's almost like you have to be a certain level of net worth to even be part of the club, or for your money to even be worth anything. But honestly, 10% is 10%. If you make 10% of your net worth, then that should be celebrated. And that's the most important part, is that you keep moving forward with it. But anyway, I can also sympathize with this myth, because when you hear coworkers and friends talk about investing, a lot of times, and this is something that I've noticed, a lot of times it's a very elitist or snobby culture, because it's pretty common to put others down that don't invest. And it's not even like a, hey, I'm looking out for you because you're not investing, but you should be for your financial security, things like that. It's almost like a, hey, I'm better than you because I invest. And this is something I've noticed growing up. And I hope that I don't come off that way. I try my best to not come off that way. But this really stings, because it's different from, let's say, something like sports, because with sports, everyone knows something about it. And, you know, some teams are better than other teams, but a lot of times, a lot of people are on the same playing field. And yes, you may really like your sport, and when people trash talk you, you get defensive. But hey, you can trash talk them back. And it's just kind of a lot more engaging, and it feels more natural. But with something like the stock market, when you're put down for not investing, it makes you not want to invest even more. And in a capitalistic society, especially in a lot of cities in the United States, we feel like our success or our value as humans is determined by our net worth. And as much as a lot of people act like it's not, the fact that everyone around us feels the same way makes us feel a certain way. And even when you see people who are really into education, maybe who are getting different master's degrees or PhDs or things like that, maybe they really do like their education, but a lot of times the act of pursuing a higher education comes with the hopes of more compensation. When I was growing up, I hated school. I mean, I think I hate school. Let's be real here. But to me, it was always like, I love money and I want to make more of it. So I'm going to find the quickest shortcut to make it. And then I got really into the stock market, and so that was my avenue. But to a lot of people, most people think about money, and it's sort of like when we envision ourselves being happy, it's a world in which we don't have to worry about money. Or maybe it's a world in which we have so much money that we own all the stuff that we've ever wanted. We want to buy stuff for our loved ones, and things like that. So money is a lot. Not number one is how we evaluate self-worth. We see people, someone richer than us, we sometimes assume that they have a little more status. Maybe it's not conscious, maybe it's subconscious, but that's the way we think. So that's my first point. The second point is our envisionment of happiness often revolves around the world where we have enough money to accomplish our goals. So yeah, in that sense, money is really important. But that's just one of the myths, is that you need a lot of money to start investing. And a lot of times people don't feel good enough, or they don't feel like they deserve to have a lot of money, because investing is something that all the millionaires do, and people don't see themselves as millionaires or potential millionaires. So that's probably more of a self-esteem issue rather than anything else. But yeah, I think this is a real cause of not investing. Anyway, myth number 2 is that you can get rich quickly. And again, this is definitely not true. There are people that are more talented than others at investing, and I think things like trading, especially trading leverage such as options and things like that, if you're really good at that, yeah, you're probably going to beat the average investor. And that's just how it is, obviously. But a lot of times people don't understand that investing is a process. And so let's say someone does try investing. If they feel like they're not getting the results that they want immediately, they'll quit, because investing is actually pretty hard. And I mean, newsflash, you're not going to be a millionaire really easily. And investing is just like anything else. If you want to get a six-pack, you can Google how to get a six-pack, but at the end of the day, you're going to see things that you already knew, which is eat the right things, drink a lot of water, do the right ab workouts, do other types of workouts to build muscle. When in the back of your head, you could probably guess those things. But of course, we're always going to try to find shortcuts. But investing for the sake of building wealth is actually a pretty mechanical and a pretty slow grinding process. And you may not see huge gains until 20 years down the line, which is, it's kind of discouraging to a lot of people. It's like, I don't want to do this process, this 20-year process, when I can have that new couch or that new piece of furniture. Imagine the envy that my friends are going to feel when they sit on my furniture. I don't know, just making up a situation. I actually know some people like that. But yeah, so people feel like either they're being lied to, or people feel like it's just not worth it. And so, yeah, that's the way it is. But I will say this, the one way to sort of get rich quickly is to invest in recessions. And this is probably one of the hardest things to do. This is a time of a lot of fear in the market. Maybe people are losing their jobs and they can't afford to invest in the stock market at the time. There's a lot of millionaires that can afford a recession, and so they get even richer, and so on and so forth. But for people who are watching this video, I will say just save some money in case of a recession. It's probably going to change your life once the recession's over, and I truly mean that. If you invest at or near the bottom of a recession, or you're consistently investing during a recession, 4 years from now, you're going to be set. And, I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. So times of market volatility is the way to get rich quickly, but you can't depend on it. 90% of the time, we're not in a recession, so you're going to have to go through it the way that everybody else does. So that's myth number 2. Myth number 3 is that you need to be smart. And so I personally don't consider myself that smart. I think getting good at anything or being smart at anything is a matter of repetition and practice. And, we hear this thing all the time. But I honestly think it's true. And I don't think that everyone's intelligent or at the same level. I think some people are just better at retaining information. But I think even the act of retaining information is a skill that can be learned. So in that sense, intelligence can be learned. But anyway, enough of that rant. The thing I will say about investing is that a lot of people turn on the TV or they go to the media to get their investment news and knowledge. And so this creates a huge sort of discrepancy of what you actually need to know to start investing and what it takes to be a good investor. Because there's so many people that turn on the news and they see like, oh, Trump tweeted this and that's why the market did this. Trade war, election, rate hikes, things like that. Things that have no long-term correlation with the stock market, unemployment, inflation, CPI, earnings, things like that, or earnings at a large scale, I should say. Things that don't really have a long-term correlation with the stock market, and people are glued to their TV. And there's an entire, multi-million-dollar world out there that makes money off sucking people in to watch their media. And so they're always going to perpetuate this type of fear and this type of thing that people buy into because they want to know more about this. And so whenever the stock market is down, what do? They look around, these people, these CNN, these Bloomberg people, these MSNBC people, they look around, they see, okay, what's happening in the world? What can I use to scare the public? And they'll see something that happened in China or tariffs or whatever, and they'll blast that on the news, and that'll be the headline all week. And people are going to be glued to their TV set, and they're going to be like, damn, well, if the stock market is red because of this, I should probably sell all my stocks. Me personally, I've been trading or at least aware of the stock market for about maybe 5 or 6 years now, and I've seen this over and over and over again. The better I got at technical analysis, the more I realized how baloney everything is. I do think predicting the stock market is something that can be, it's a skill, meaning it's something you can get better at. But it has to involve you to get away from all that noise and just focus on the charts. So in that sense, I feel like investing is just like a skill, or trading is a skill just like anything else. But you don't have to be particularly smart to be good at it. In fact, most of the times, you don't even have to be a really good investor to make money off the stock market. You guys have seen my M1 Finance account. It's very, very simple. I just buy stocks that pay monthly dividends, or I just buy large companies. These are companies that everybody's heard of. If you invest in something like Amazon and Microsoft or Apple, things like that, you're probably going to make money in the long term. And you really just have to pick stocks that do this, that go up. Especially if they're large cap companies, that's kind of the way to go. But that's all you have to do to make money in the stock market. I really don't think it's as complicated as people make it out to be. You can stuff your faces with 10Qs and 10K filings with the hopes of getting more information that somebody doesn't already know. But that's probably not going to help you in the long run. So, or at least with most type of investing. But anyway, I feel like this video got really long, but these are just my thoughts. This is kind of like a ramble about investing, just kind of like freestyling everything. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Go ahead and comment and let me know what are your thoughts about the myths about investing. If you made it this far, then congratulations. You guys are awesome for having a really great attention span. But anyway, I hope you have a great night and see you guys in the next one.